Welcome back to the channel. Today we're exploring one of New York City's most iconic and awe-inspiring attractions, a museum that floats on water and takes you on a journey through the sky, the sea, and even outer space. We're heading to the west side of Manhattan, Pier 86, right along the Hudson River, to visit the Intrepid Sea Airspace Museum. Whether you're a history buff, aviation fan, space geek, or just curious about American innovation, this place will absolutely blow your mind. If you're looking for an unforgettable adventure right here in New York City, whether you're a local, a tourist, or planning a fun family trip, the Intrepid Sea Airspace Museum is one of the most exciting destinations around. Before you go, here's everything you need to know to plan the perfect visit. Located at Pier 86 on the west side of Manhattan, W46th Street, 12th Ave, the museum is easy to reach by public transportation. You can get there by driving, subway, bus, or ferry. Now, if you're wondering how to get here, the easiest and most reliable way is honestly to just use Google Maps. Whether you're coming by subway, bus, walking, driving, or even by ferry, Google Maps gives you the best real-time directions based on where you are. Just type in Intrepid Museum or Intrepid Sea Airspace Museum, and it'll guide you right to Pier 86. No stress, no confusion. Especially if you're a tourist or it's your first time in NYC, using Google Maps makes the whole trip way easier. This museum isn't just about machines, it's about stories. From fighter jets and space shuttles to submarines and supersonic travel, there's something here to spark the imagination of every kid, and every grown-up too. Tickets are available online and at the entrance, but booking in advance helps you skip the line, especially on weekends. The museum is open 7 days a week year-round, with longer hours in the warmer months. Your general admission ticket includes access to the best the museum has to offer: the legendary USS Intrepid aircraft carrier, the Space Shuttle Pavilion, home of the Space Shuttle Enterprise, the Growler submarine, where you can walk through an actual Cold War-era missile sub, all major exhibits and displays throughout the museum. You can also purchase a separate time ticket to take a guided tour of the British Airways Concorde, the supersonic passenger jet that crossed the Atlantic in under 3 hours. For a smooth experience, try visiting weekday mornings or early afternoons. Weekends and holidays can get busy, especially between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. Pro tip: the Growler submarine and Concorde tours have limited capacity, so visit those early in your trip before they fill up. If you enjoyed this guide, please give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. I'm aiming for at least 5 new subscribers today, and your support really helps the channel grow. The museum is anchored aboard the USS Intrepid, a legendary aircraft carrier that served in World War II, the Cold War, and the Vietnam War, and even helped recover NASA astronauts from the ocean. Commissioned in 1943 and now permanently docked in New York City, the Intrepid is more than a ship. It's a floating time capsule filled with human courage, cutting-edge technology, and the story of American power and resilience. Now, let's take a closer look at one of the most unique parts of the Intrepid Museum, the USS Growler, sitting quietly beside the massive aircraft carrier. At first glance, it may look like a simple gray tube floating on the water, but this submarine carried one of the most powerful secrets of the Cold War. This is USS Growler SSG-577, a diesel-electric submarine that once patrolled the Pacific Ocean carrying nuclear cruise missiles. It's the only American guided missile submarine from the Cold War era that is open to the public. Launched in 1958, Growler was a critical part of the U.S. Navy's early nuclear deterrent strategy. It was designed to sneak silently near enemy coastlines, surface briefly, and launch a devastating nuclear strike if ever ordered. As you make your way inside, it becomes instantly clear. Life on a submarine is no luxury cruise. The passageways are narrow, the ceilings low, and the quarters are cramped. Crew members worked and slept shoulder to shoulder, surrounded by wires, pipes, and torpedoes. Some slept just inches from the missile launch bays. The most intense area, the Missile Command Center, where nuclear-tipped Regulus I cruise missiles were armed and ready. It's a chilling yet fascinating reminder of how close the world once came to nuclear conflict. You'll also get to see the engine room, the control and navigation stations, and even the tiny kitchen, or galley, where the crew cooked meals for over 80 submariners. The Growler's mission was top secret. It was part of the U.S. Navy's strategy known as deterrence by stealth, keeping the enemy guessing about where the next missile might come from. These submarines were the shadow warriors of the Cold War. Walking through Growler is like stepping into a time capsule. You can almost feel the pressure the crew lived under, the sense of purpose, danger, and absolute discipline required to serve beneath the sea. It's not just a piece of military hardware, it's a floating piece of history that tells the story of a world that once stood on edge, and the men who kept that world in balance. step into the ship's core, the hangar deck, where the real work of maintaining and preparing aircraft took place. This was the nerve center of daily operations aboard the USS Intrepid. It's where planes were stored, repaired, refueled, and armed between missions. But today, it's been transformed into an interactive exhibition space that brings the ship's history to life. You'll see full-size aircraft on display, some undergoing restoration and others carefully placed to recreate what this space might have looked like during active service. There are detailed dioramas, reconstructed workshops, and cutaway models showing how aircraft were maintained, how engines were repaired, and how bomb racks were loaded, all under tight schedules and high pressure. The hangar deck is also where the museum gets truly hands-on. Visitors of all ages can experience flight simulators, virtual missions, and interactive touchscreen exhibits that let you explore the ship's history, design, and missions. You can try your hand at guiding a fighter jet, plot a naval maneuver, or watch dramatic footage from World War II, Vietnam, and even Cold War reconnaissance missions. One of the most moving areas of the hangar deck tells the story of the kamikaze attacks the Intrepid survived during World War II. In 1944 and 1945, the ship was struck by several suicide planes, killing dozens of sailors and severely damaging the carrier. Through personal stories, video interviews, and artifacts recovered from those tragic moments, you gain a deeper understanding of the bravery and sacrifice that took place aboard this very ship. Another section of the hangar deck shows what life was like for the sailors. From the tight sleeping quarters stacked 3 high, to the galley where thousands of meals were prepared each day, to the sick bay where wounded men were treated in wartime conditions. It's a look at the daily routine behind the dramatic flight missions, and a reminder that this ship wasn't just a weapon. It was home to over 3,000 crew members at a time. The hangar deck also hosts rotating exhibits, educational programs, and special events. Whether it's a STEM learning camp for kids or a special exhibit on women in aviation, this space constantly evolves to keep history connected to today. As you walk through the hangar deck, you're literally walking through the living history of the USS Intrepid, where mechanics worked 18-hour shifts, where missions were planned, and where the rhythm of war pulsed every day. It's a space that brings you closer to the human side of this massive war machine, the teamwork, the sacrifice, and the spirit that kept the Intrepid in the fight. Now we're heading up to the crown jewel of the Intrepid, the flight deck. This massive open-air platform was once the launch and recovery zone for fighter jets and helicopters roaring off into battle. Today, it's a sprawling aircraft showcase with one of the most impressive collections of military aircraft in the United States, all sitting above the Hudson River with the Manhattan skyline as a backdrop. The flight deck stretches nearly 900 feet, almost the length of 3 football fields, and it was the heart of the ship's operations during wartime. Imagine the chaos: planes launching and landing in quick succession, deck crews waving hand signals, and the thunder of jet engines overhead. This deck was a floating airport in the middle of the ocean, one where every second mattered. Today, it's quiet, but the machines up here tell a loud story. One of the stars of the deck is the Lockheed A-12 Blackbird, a sleek, stealthy spy plane developed in secret for the CIA during the Cold War. It flew at Mach 3, or 3 times the speed of sound, at altitudes over 85,000 feet, higher than most missiles could reach. This was America's invisible eye in the sky. Right next to it is the F-14 Tomcat, a twin-engine Navy jet made famous in the movie Top Gun. With its swing wings and powerful radar system, it ruled the skies for decades as one of the Navy's most feared interceptors. The deck is also home to several helicopters, including the Bell H-1 Cobra, used heavily in Vietnam, and the Sikorsky Sea Guardian, a lifeline for rescue missions. You'll also find training planes, anti-submarine aircraft, and international fighters, each one representing a different chapter in aviation history. Toward the starboard side, you'll see the towering island structure, which served as the ship's brain, housing the bridge, radar operations, and air traffic control. From here, officers and pilots coordinated takeoffs, landings, and overall battle operations. One mistake could be deadly, so this was a place of laser focus and split-second decisions. Standing here on the deck today, with fighter jets lined up beside you and the wind blowing off the river, you can't help but feel the weight of history. This isn't just a museum, it's a memorial to innovation, bravery, and the service members who lived and flew on this ship. The flight deck reminds us that technology may change, but courage and commitment are timeless. Now let's step into the Space Shuttle Pavilion, home to the prototype Space Shuttle Enterprise. While it never flew into space, Enterprise was the first orbiter ever built, and it paved the way for the entire shuttle program. Standing beneath it is a humbling experience. It's massive, beautiful, and a symbol of human curiosity reaching for the stars. The pavilion also features multimedia exhibits, astronaut gear, and NASA history that brings the space age to life. And just when you think the museum couldn't get more impressive, here it is, the legendary British Airways Concorde. Sleek, sharp, and futuristic even by today's standards, the Concorde looks more like a rocket than a passenger plane. It was one of only 2 supersonic commercial airliners ever built, and this one right here, Concorde Alpha Delta, is a real piece of aviation history. This engineering marvel flew at twice the speed of sound. That's Mach 2, or over 1,300 miles per hour. To put it simply, you could fly from New York City to London in under 3 hours. That's faster than most people's morning commute. The Concorde wasn't just about speed, it was about status. It served royalty, celebrities, and business elites. Flying Concorde meant you were living life in the fast lane, literally. Stepping inside the cabin, you'll notice it's much narrower than today's commercial jets. There were just 100 seats, arranged in 4 across rows, designed for efficiency and elegance, not legroom. But with champagne in hand and a view from 60,000 feet above Earth, most passengers didn't mind. The cockpit, with its dense panel of analog gauges and instruments, feels more like a spacecraft than an airliner. Pilots underwent intense training just to handle the complex controls of this supersonic bird. Here are a few mind-blowing facts about Concorde. It could outrun the sun, taking off from London in the evening and arriving in New York before sunset. Its nose dropped downward during takeoff and landing to give pilots better visibility. The fuselage would stretch 6-10 inches during flight due to the extreme heat at supersonic speeds. It flew so high, passengers could see the curvature of the Earth. And this specific Concorde, Alpha Delta, once made the fastest transatlantic crossing ever recorded, just 2 hours, 52 minutes, and 59 seconds from JFK to Heathrow. Sadly, Concorde was retired in 2003 after decades of service, but its legacy lives on right here at the Intrepid Museum. Standing beside it, you realize this wasn't just a plane, it was the pinnacle of commercial flight, a symbol of how far technology and ambition could go. If you've ever dreamed of flying faster than the speed of sound, this is the closest you'll get. And it's right here on the Hudson River,